Good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining this conference from. I'm so excited to be back at SAPICS. I've spoken for SAPICS a couple of years, and this is one of my favorite pastimes. So I always love to speak here. I tell people without any apology that SAPICS is one of the best organized conference that I look forward to attending every year, whether I'm just attending or I'm speaking. And I've attended quite a number of conferences. So for me to say that, it's a big one. So thanks to SAPICS for this opportunity again. Just a quick disclaimer before I go to my presentation. And I always give this disclaimer. The first disclaimer is, unfortunately, for some of you that will probably think this guy must be giving us a magic wand to maintain a balanced life. I don't have a magic wand. I'm from Nigeria, and all sorts have been said about Nigeria and Africa. But unfortunately today, I don't have a magic wand. So I will not be handing over to you a magic wand, right? The second disclaimer is you will probably not agree with everything that I will say today. And I want to apologize in advance. And that's okay. You don't have to agree with everything. Some will be facts. Some will be my personal opinion. And I will try to differentiate when I'm stating a fact and when I'm stating my personal opinion. You don't have to believe everything. You don't have to agree with everything. My only request is please be open-minded. You need to only pick 2 or 3 things that I will say. And my commitment to you is if you do 2 or 3 things out of the 10 principles that I will share, you will not be the same again. I mean, your work-life balance will improve. Okay? So just be open-minded, and then that's it. Now we're going to get started. I'm going to present my screen, and then we can get started. I want us to get started with a small poll. So let me share, and then we can go to the poll. Okay, so I want to believe that everyone is seeing my screen. Right? If you're seeing my screen, please can you go to menti.com, whether on your phone or your computer. If you can go to menti.com and then use the code 5669683, 5669683. Okay. Yeah. So if you can see that, then I am putting up a poll. Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your current work-life effectiveness? That's okay. On a scale of 1 to 5, please rate your current work-life effectiveness. I'm getting very good responses, so I like that. I like that. That's good. For those of you still wondering, 1 means I have no life. I'm at the end of the rope and I can't take it anymore. I'm about to break. 2 is it's just so. I'm just surviving, you know. 3 is I wouldn't say it's great, but it's not so bad either. I can do with some little improvement, but not so bad. 4 is I have a very good work-life balance. I have energy for other things in my life outside of work. And then 5 is people are even wondering if I ever work. I like the responses. I'll wait. 82 people responded so far. I'll wait for us to cross the 100 mark, and then I'll go to the next question because of time. I like that. So 85 people responded. Any more responding? Okay. Looks like 3 is carrying the day, right? It's interesting to see that a lot of people in this call have a good work-life balance. That's very good already. Should make my job much easier, right? And not many people are really at 1. That's good as well. That's good as well. Okay, I think I'm going to stop because of time. This is a bit different from what I normally get in the audience. What I normally get is that around 70 to 80% will fall within 1 to 3. Looks like it's around, if I do a rough calculation, is around 60-65% here. So, but that's okay as well. Okay, the next question is very similar. Where would you like to be? That's what the next question is all about. So where would you want to be? So I know where you are right now. Can you answer the question then? Where would you want to be? Where would you want to be? Oh, looks like many people want to be a 4. Wow, somebody wants to be a 1? Okay. Okay. Yeah, looks like majority will want to be at the 4. Right? That's what I thought as well. Majority wants to be 4. Some people wants to be 5. That's beautiful. I think 5 is also a bit a bit on the other side of excess. Yeah, but that's okay. If that's what you want, that's beautiful. I cannot fault that. Okay, I'll wait for a few more responses, but I think it's clear that most people want to be between 4 and 5, maybe 80%, 90% of this audience. Very good, very good. Okay, that's good. I think that gives us a view of what we're going to be talking about. So now let's get started. Okay, so what is the objective of this presentation? The objective is to help you start a personalized work-life balance. And you will understand what I mean by a personalized work-life balance after the training. At the same time, it's a journey. So this will not get you there, all of a sudden, but it will help you start the journey. Now, let me state a couple of facts. Number one fact is that this work-life balance that we're talking about is often talked about issue. This is an issue that I have heard since I started working 17 years ago. Okay, I work for a multinational, and each year we're always having policies and principles around how to, make work-life balance better for employees. I'm sure it's about the same in your organization as well. It's often talked about. Okay, not only that, this problem is a global problem. I know there are probably people in this region who thinks that this problem is peculiar to this region. You're wrong. This problem is in every region that I've worked, and I've worked quite in a number of regions. Now, you're right to say that it may be more pronounced in some regions than others, but work-life balance issue is present in all regions. Go to Middle East and Africa, it's there. In Europe, it's there. In North America, it's there. In Latin America, it's there. Greater China, it's there. Okay? Now, it can vary in intensity, but everyone that I've met in this region talks about work-life balance. Okay? The problem is that nothing we have done has helped much. We've been looking at this issue, again, like I said, since 17, 18 years that I started my work life, but nothing has helped a lot in all the principles and policies that were put in place. Why is this the case? The reason is very simple. I did a research and I did a study on this, and I found out that there is a fundamental flaw in the approach that we were using before now. Why? The focus before now has been on time management. People feel that work-life balance is an issue of time management. They believe that once you can manage your time better, you would have a better work-life balance. Nothing can be further from the truth, right? Why is that not the case? We work for companies. If you can do your work better and more efficiently, and instead of doing your work for 8 hours, you do it in 6 hours. Let me ask you a question. Do you think your company will send you home after 6 hours? Your guess is as good as mine. Most likely they will not. What will they do? They will package extra work for the remaining 2 hours and add it to the efficient 6 hours that you already have. So, you move from one level to another of stress, one level to another of work-life imbalance, just because the focus has been on time management. The problem or the issue is that we have something more complex than time management. Yes, time is an issue and the way people manage time, but I'm not going to focus on that because that's a very little part of the problem. The other issue is work-life balance has to do with how people feel. How people feel, your perspective about life. When you feel great, you don't so much face a work-life issue than when you don't feel great. Your perspective about life affects your work-life balance. So people that are more pessimistic than others, people that have a very negative perspective on life, most times face work-life balance issues more than the others. So your perspective about life matters. Your family or loved one satisfaction is a big contributor. How many of you have returned home to a crying wife? Once you get home and your loved one is not satisfied, immediately you have a work-life balance issue. You might be excited at work. You might have done great. You might even just get a promotion. But you go home and you meet a crying wife or a dissatisfied son, and all of a sudden you have a work-life balance issue because your family stroke loved one satisfaction is a factor. Another factor that is not often talked about is your health and well-being. It's your health and well-being. I mean, I've seen a lot of this. So the other time I was talking to a colleague who developed a back problem, okay, because of sitting in one place. And then he was telling me, it's P&G that caused this. And I said, why? He said, because, we're in lockdown and they expect us to join every call. Now, he's blaming the company for his health and well-being. And all of a sudden, he has a work-life balance issue. He feels that his life and work is not balanced because he has health and well-being crisis. The same is true for all of us. When you have health and well-being crisis, you immediately have a work-life balance issue. This one is a big one. Out of work sense of fulfillment. I've worked in the corporate world for 17, 18 years, and I've seen this a lot. There are many people who are moving from one paycheck to another. It's just all about the results. It's about promotions. It's about pay increases. They don't have any other sense of fulfillment outside of work. No wonder they face serious issue with work-life balance because everything is about the company. Everything is about the next result. Everything is about the green scorecard. Everything is about the next pay increase and promotion. And because they don't have out of work sense of fulfillment, they immediately develop a work-life balance issue, right? The other one is relationships. I mean, meaningful relationships, effective relationships. I've seen people who blame their companies even for relationships. Okay. The other time I was talking jokingly about a lady that I know. I'm sorry to say, but one of the people that have very, very wrong attitude, very, very wrong attitude. And then, she was just not, finding the right relationship, and she was blaming the company. And then one day she said, look, I'm going to go. I'm going to resign. I'm going to go to another company. I couldn't say this loud, but I was saying under my breath, you can go anywhere you like until you fix relationship issue. You are not going to have a work-life balance. Your problem is not the company. Your problem is not the company you work for. The problem is that you are approaching the issue with a fundamental flaw. Your relationship matters and affects your work-life balance. So what I'm saying in this slide is the following. We have a bigger problem than time management. A lot of companies that I've seen have focused their energy on time management in fixing the work-life balance issue. If this is what your company does, or if this is what you're doing personally, then you're only fixing 5 to 10% of the issue. The issue is beyond that. It has to do with your perspective, your loved one satisfaction, your health and well-being, out of work fulfillment, and relationships. Now, having said that, what then should we do? What then should we do? What are the coping strategies? Let me let you know the issue won't go away. I'm telling you, there will never be a time when we will say, oops, we fixed the work-life balance issue completely. It's not, there is a software or an app that once you install on your computer or on your phone, your work life will just be fixed. No, the issue is not going to go away no matter what we do. The issue, the thing we have to do is to learn how to cope with it. So what are the coping strategies? Let me let you know that the coping strategies are also personal. Why have I said this? What I've discovered in this study of work-life balance is that what is work-life balance for someone might not be what is work-life balance for another person. Let me give you an instance. I can send people home at 12 noon every day and they will still have a work-life balance issue. In fact, some of them will get home and they will not know what to do. They will not know what to do with their life. For some people, it is not about sending them home early. It is a lot more than that. For some people, it's about having the ability to spend the evening with their loved ones. It's personal. For some people, it is, I want to work 9 hours when I'm in the office. I don't really care. In fact, I can spend 10, I can spend 11, but once I go out of the office, I don't want to work again. So it's personal. It means different things to different people. If I had the time today, I would have asked you to go to the chat box and just say, what does work-life balance mean to you? You will see different definitions. So it's personal, and one style will not fit it all. And that's why I'm saying all the strategies that we'll be talking about today will not work for everyone. I am not expecting you to use all the strategies. My commitment to you is that if you pick 2 or 3 of the strategies that I will talk about today, I am very sure, convinced, and I've done this over the years. I've done this for more than 10 years now. I'm convinced that at least you will move 1 point on the scale that we saw earlier on. So if you're a 2, you can move to a 3. If you're a 3, you can move to a 4. If you're a 4 and you decide it's your desire to be a 5, then you can move as well. So that's my commitment to you, that if you pick 2 or 3, not more than 2 or 3 of these principles, and you leave them, you will see major improvements in your life. Okay, so let's now go to the principles or the strategies. Strategy number 1, and this one is a classic, it's very important, it's the foundation of it all. Define your 5 roles and make choices based on this. Define your 5 roles and make choices based on this. You know, according to sociological research, the average person globally has 22 roles in his life, in his or her life. So what I mean is, if you count your roles on your fingertips, so you're, for example, you are a father, you are a husband, you are a business executive, you are somebody's cousin, somebody's son, somebody's aunt, and so on, and somebody's friend. If you count the average number of roles that you have to play in your life, there are about 22 of those roles. Okay? That's a global average. You know, if you come to Africa or in our region, I think this number will double. I think it will double or triple, because then you are someone's auntie's brother and someone's brother's friend, sister, you know, all those roles that we have in this part of the world. So I'm sure it will be double or triple, right? So research has shown that this is what the average person has. But guess what? Research also shows that you need to define your top most important roles and make sure that nothing gets in between those roles. What I'm saying is, from the beginning, you need to be very clear. What are your top 5 finger roles? That's what we call them. We call them the 5 finger roles. Okay? So if I ask you today, what are your most important 5 finger roles, okay, that you don't want to make choices on? I mean, if there is any conflict within these roles, you will drop anything extra. Would you be able to list them to me? What are your top 5 finger roles? Many of us want to be everything to everyone. And unfortunately, we bring pressure on ourselves and we blame our companies for that. I don't think we should. I think this is personal. What are your top 5 finger roles? I defined mine several years back. Okay? So what are your top 5 finger roles? So for example, you can say, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a business executive, I'm a mentor, for example, and I'm a school chairman or school board chairman or something like this. So you say, these are my top roles in my life that will take priority over every other thing. Once you define them, then you make choices based on them. If something else is going to come in to take the place of one of these 5, you need to be wise enough to drop one. Now, it doesn't mean that you will not do other things. You will for sure do other things. But it means if there is any conflict between those other things compared to your 5 finger roles, there is no discussion point. You already made the decision. I give you an example. You will not find me hanging out with friends when my daughter has a school play. It's a choice that I made. It's not a discussion. So for example, my daughter has a school play on Friday, and then a friend is saying, can you come for a hangout on Friday? It's not a consideration. You know why? My 5 finger rules is defined. My 5 finger rules is clear. Okay. For example, you will not find me going for a dinner, even a corporate dinner, when I have something conflicting with my role as a husband. This is my own choice. What are your own choices that you are going to make? I encourage you to make those 5-finger rules. One important thing to note is that you also need to make adjustment when there is a need. What do I mean by that? So, for example, you define your 5-finger rules, and tomorrow you are getting married. All of a sudden, a husband comes up without any warning. You need to tell yourself, am I going to replace one of these 5 with this new role that came up? Or 9 months, 10 months after your wife becomes pregnant and she has a baby, you need to ask yourself, all of a sudden you are now a father, right? Will that get into the 5-finger rules or not? If it will get into it, which one will drop? It may be momentarily. For example, I ran an MBA for the last 2 years. I just completed it. And within those 2 years, the MBA program had to come into my 5-finger rules and one of them had to drop. It's a conscious decision. So when something else comes up, something must drop to a lower rating. When I have direct reports and they're about to get married or they're about to have their baby or something in their life is about to change, I have this conversation with them so that they don't stress in their lives. Okay? Be aware of changes and adjust accordingly. Now, there's a principle that I will end this slide with. It's the principle of living on a margin. There are many people in this call. You're living out of margin. You know what that means? Your margin is the difference between your limit and your load. You're taking a lot of load, but your limit is the same. So you're stressed. You're stressed. Your work life is out of place. It's out of whack because you don't have a margin. You can imagine if you're traveling from your house to the office and it takes exactly 1 hour to get there, and you are leaving the house exactly at 7, expecting to be in the office at 8. I think 50% of the time you will make it to the office at 8, but 50% of the time you will not. Why? There are things that will happen on the way. A red light, traffic light, something will come up. Because you don't have a margin, you will be late. A lot of people are having stress and work-life balance issue in their lives because they don't have a margin. They don't have a margin, no time margin, no financial margin. Okay? Their loads are above their limits. And when this happens, there are 2 things you need to do. Either you lower your load, and there is no crime in lowering your load. Guys, if you're going to really have a good work-life balance, you need to be able to say no. You need to be able to say no. Whether you like it or not, you are already saying no. When you say yes to something, you are saying no to other things. So be conscious what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. Okay? Because of time, I need to run, but 5-finger rules, please define them and be very clear to make choices based on them. Strategy number 2, use one schedule for your life. This one is very critical and very crucial. I have been in the work environment and I've seen people use different schedules. If you work in an organization or in a place that use the Outlook calendar, may I encourage you this morning to put all your schedules on the Outlook calendar. Don't have one schedule on the Outlook calendar and the other one on paper. Many of us write the list of the things we want to do every day on a sheet of paper. It's good. I like the practice, but if I were you, I would take that practice, go to my Outlook calendar and schedule a time, especially if you work for an organization that respects the Outlook schedule, like mine. Okay? So once anybody sees that your Outlook schedule is free, they go and put a meeting there. And they don't care whether you are stressed or not. As long as it is convenient for them, they come and put a meeting there. So in order to avoid that, I wish I could show you my Outlook calendar. In my Outlook calendar, you will see everything. My workouts are in my Outlook calendar. My breaks are in my Outlook calendar. My lunch breaks are in my Outlook calendar. Sometimes I feel I need personal time, so I put personal time there. Okay, I go and block it 3 weeks out. If you go and look at my Outlook calendar, it's blocked. I put time for personal development in my Outlook calendar. I put time for breaks in my Outlook calendar. I put free periods in my Outlook calendar. Yeah, transparently, sometimes work will come and take these free periods, but think about it. Even if you still have 50% of it and work takes the remaining 50%, you're better off than someone who doesn't have, who is just moving from meeting to meeting without a margin. Okay, so use an Outlook calendar. Put everything there. You want to work out 6:30 to 8. Put it there on your Outlook calendar. Let no one get in. Okay? And somebody's saying, but oh man, what you're saying looks easy. How would they know? Use a code system that works for yourself. In my Outlook calendar, you will see something like meeting with the head boss. I'm the head boss of myself. So I put meeting with the head boss, meeting with myself. where I look at what are the actions that needs to be done. This 1 hour, no one gets in. So I use it to write my one pages. I use it to think through what I want to do. Okay, find a system that works for you and then use it. But please don't carry two schedules. Don't carry an Outlook schedule and a paper schedule. It doesn't work. No one sees your paper schedule except you. The Outlook schedule is seen by your colleagues and your boss and everyone. And hopefully you work in an organization where they respect the Outlook schedule. So don't use two schedules, use one for your life. Strategy number 3, and this one is one of my favorites. On defining moment, always choose family. Now, again, please note, I said on defining moment. I didn't say every moment, okay? Because if you choose family every moment, then you will be out of work very soon, right? But I'm saying on defining moment, always choose family. What do we mean by defining moment? By the way, defining moments are not a lot in the year. There are about 6 to 8 in the year. Birthday of a loved one, wedding anniversary, school plays, sports anniversary, family reunions. Please, on this defining moment, never ever choose your work above your family. You will pay for it and your work life will be out of place. You see, your family may not mind you coming home late for dinner. They don't mind. Once in a while, you come home for dinner, you cancel dinner, no problem, that's fine. But they mind when you miss important events, even when they don't tell you. Okay, you know, I was talking to a colleague the other time who was telling me it was his wedding anniversary, and then there was a business meeting, a business dinner with one of the VPs, and then he was discussing with the wife, should I go? Of course, you know, ladies, they will say, oh, go, don't worry, it's okay, don't worry, go. And then, you know, he was preparing to go, and he thought to himself, come on, why will I go to an event where probably no one will even notice if I came or not, versus my wedding anniversary? So he said, no, I'm not going to go. So he went back to his wife and said, look, honey, I decided not to go. I'm going to spend the evening with you. The wife felt so relieved. The wife was like, thank you. I really thank you for choosing me. And you know, he was saying in his mind, why did you ask me to go before? You know, something like that. And then the next day he got to the office and he was asking about how the event went. And then they told him, oh, you didn't come? You didn't come? Actually, no one noticed that he wasn't there. He would have sacrificed that wedding dinner for a dinner that no one would notice, versus the one that, you know, for the next couple of months, you scored a good point, right? So your family may not mind when you come home late for dinner, but they mind when you miss important events. So my advice, please, on defining moments, never ever sacrifice your family for work. Never ever sacrifice your family for work. Again, I'm not saying on every moment you need to make sacrifices. I'm saying on defining moments. And let it be known to them in the office that on defining moments, you would always choose your family. Now, I hear somebody saying, you don't know where I work for. This will affect you. Okay, fine. If it affects you a couple of months, let's assume. Okay, fine. So be it. Life goes on. You need the love of the family to have a good work-life balance. So you need to make your choices. So my encouragement, never ever sacrifice your family for work. That's the third strategy. Fourth strategy, this one is another classic. Take real vacations. Take real vacations. You know, I remember joining my company 17, 18 years ago. And then, you know, just like most people in this part of the world, you want to give your best. You want to give your extras. So I remember for the first year, I was in the plant every single day. Sometimes I would sleep in the plant till the next day, you know, delivering the results and so on and so forth. You know, never took a vacation. And then I had a boss, okay, who came in, and, you know, the plant was actually going through a crisis at that time. And he called me and said, you know, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to be on vacation from July 1st to July 31st. I'm like, how can you leave the plant and go away for 31 days when the plant is on fire? You know, every July 1st to 31st, this guy takes his vacation. And, you know, I learned a lot from that experience. And then the next year, I decided to take my own vacation after like 18 months of work. And then, you know, I told the guys, because I wasn't too confident, I said, look, I'm going on vacation, but please call me any day. Every day, call me. Once there's a problem, I have my phone with me. Just call me. The first day, no one called me. Whoa, what's happening? Second day, no one called me. Ooh, what's going on here? Third day, no one called me. Then after like a week, I couldn't take it any longer. I called them. I said, guys, what's happening? No one is calling me. They said, yeah, we don't need to call you. The plant is running very well. Actually, we're delivering better results than when you were here. So I suddenly realized that maybe I was a problem, right? Again, guys, take real vacations. Take real vacations. Let me tell you, whether you believe it or yes, the share price of your company won't fall apart because you're away. Most likely to even improve, right? So avoid taking your laptops for vacation. I know this is a big deal for some people. Big deal. Big deal. And your office phones too. Nothing is going to happen. The people are not going to crash. By the way, we will talk about it in the coming slides. Your people will even perform better than you have expected. Try it for 1 week. Try it for 1 week. Take real vacations. You know, it's interesting that some of us pay for expensive vacation, exquisite vacations, and we're still working. You can imagine being on a cruise and your family is there, everybody is there, but you're spending 50% of the time working, paying for such an expensive vacation. So what are you doing? Come on, stop that and focus on your family, right? So avoid taking your laptops. I reached an alignment a couple of years back. I never go on vacation with my laptops. So I put my laptop in a locker, put it there 2 weeks. Thank you very much. When I return, I do something interesting. I'm not asking you to do it. So this is not a fact. This is an opinion. Okay. So I do something interesting. So I go, there is, as you can imagine, I have 1,000 emails. Everybody expecting me to reply. Guess what I do? I sort those emails. I choose my boss's emails and his boss. So my boss and my boss's boss. I put all of them in a new folder, right? And they are not always a lot because they know I'm on vacation. The rest, I press Alt Delete. I delete them. Do you know why? Most of them, 80% of them had been resolved while I was on vacation. The remaining 20% will come back to me in the name of friendly reminders. They will come back. If they are still up, they will say friendly reminder. Please, as a follow-up to my last email. Why do I want to spend 1 week after returning from vacation going through emails that are no longer important? Again, don't try that if you are not that confident. That's what I do. It works every year. From the first day I arrive back from vacation, I'm on top of everything that is happening because 80% of it are already solved. 20% will come back to me. So please take real vacations. I have a test for a real vacation. A real vacation is one that when you return from, you forget your passwords. You need to visit the IT department because you've enjoyed so much of vacation that you've forgotten your password. So you need to visit them. And I've had such vacations before in my life. So use vacation to distress. Use it to recharge your batteries. Listen to me, friends. Some of you will perform better at work if you take real vacations. The reason why you're stressed every time, no new ideas, no fresh ideas, is because you've not taken a real vacation. Take a real vacation to distress, to recharge your batteries. And guess what? You will return back better with fresher ideas and ready to go. So take real vacations. Number five, master the art of writing. Master the art of writing through communication. One of the things that stresses people out the most is writing and communication. Many people don't want to admit, but I'm telling you, many people fall apart because they don't know how to write. They don't know how to communicate. Those of you who are senior managers in this call, you understand what I'm saying. You ask somebody a simple question, and then they write you an epistle of what the answer is, and yet you still do not get the answer. He has spent 1 hour writing that versus 5 minutes of writing the right thing that will give him 55 minutes extra. And this person goes home saying, "Oh, my boss is tough. Life is not fair," because the person has not learned how to write. It has not learned how to write. I found out that writing is one of the fundamentals in most companies. Either it's a one-pager, either it's a PowerPoint presentation. There is a way that your company presents their information and communication. You need to master that. Many people fall apart because they have not mastered that. Okay? You need to know that people who move fastest in most companies are great writers and communicators. Learn the art of writing. In my office, it's one pager. It's one pager. So everyone, you need to master the art of one pagers. I don't know what it is in your company or in your office. You need to find out how is communication in this organization, and you need to master it. I can tell you that when you master the art of communication in your company, you would reduce your response time at least by 50%. because you can then focus on what's important. You can then focus on what's crucial, not writing long emails and things that nobody is going to read. I tell those reporting to me, I said, look, when I see your email and it's already long, it's a bit difficult to read, right? So most times I come back to it when I have time. Versus, sending a line, sending 2 lines, sending 3 lines that really answers my questions and my requests. So master the art of writing. It's very important. And of course, you don't write by just wishing that you can write. How do you master writing? You practice, and you practice. You don't have to fall apart when there is a request for a 1-pager. Practice the art of writing, ask for feedbacks about writing, and you would enjoy a better work life. Okay? Strategy number 6. This one is very important. I think I'm running a bit out of time. Strategy number 6. Practice the 80-20 principle. Important. You know why? This is an opinion, maybe not a fact. I found out that perfectionists have a work-life balance problem. Perfectionists have a work-life balance problem. People who want to do things and they need to make sure that everything is perfect. The book is like this. This is like that. Everything needs to be 100%. They have a work-life balance problem. Okay? Sometimes it takes you 3 months to get something to 80%. But guess what? It will take you 4 months extra to move it from 80 to 90%. So the question is, do you want to launch after 3 months at 80%, or you want to wait 7 months and launch at 90%? You need to know. You need to know. And, interestingly, that's why we have many versions. If you look at your iPhone, I think we're at iPhone 12 now or something. If someone didn't launch the first one and was waiting for perfection, we'll probably never have the iPhone now. Know when to launch. Sometimes 80% is good enough, and then you would then improve it as time goes on, right? So, but some people want to make sure everything is 100%. So perfectionists have a work-life balance problem. 80-20 is good enough, except in some places, of course. In R&D, maybe 80-20 is not good enough. And in finance, please, if you don't want to end up in jail, don't do 80-20 is good enough in finance, right? Make sure that that's 100%. But except in those places, 80-20 is good enough. So know when to launch, know when it is 80% okay, and then you can launch, breathe, recharge, and then start over again, right? Strategy number 7, train, trust, and delegate. This one is a masterpiece. Train, trust, and delegate. I've seen folks who are stressed, who complain a lot about work-life balance, but do you know why? Because they are doing everything by themselves. They trust no one. They must do the report. They must do the presentation. They must attend the meeting. They have 20 people reporting to them, but they don't trust anyone enough. And yet they are complaining that they are stressed. You are complaining because you have not taken the time to train people, to trust people, and to delegate to them. Listen to me, folks. Nobody is smarter than everybody. Nobody is smarter than everybody. In fact, a wise man said some time ago, if you think you don't need anyone, no one will need you. If you think you don't need anyone, no one will need you. You are not smarter than everybody. You need to come to terms with that. You need to come to terms with that. And you need to invest your quality time in building capability in your team. You need to build capability enough that even when you are not around, the job gets done. They don't have to wait for you to sign every paper. They don't have to wait for you to review everything. Of course, you can have a decision authority. Yeah, that's fine. But give people opportunity to grow. Duplicate yourself so that you can have time for other stuff. And, sometimes some people think that they must be the only one that knows how to do certain things, especially in this part of the world. You think that there is prestige in being the only one that can do stuff. There is no prestige in it, especially in our world today. No, you need to duplicate yourself. In fact, in most companies, you don't move higher until you are able to duplicate yourself at your level. You need to duplicate yourself. Create time the next 6 months in investing and building capability in your team, and see how it frees up your time to do other stuff. Okay? So, and you need to know that people rise to your highest expectation or they sink to your lowest. I don't know if you have heard about the Pygmalion effect before. If you have not, I encourage you to do a research on the Pygmalion effect. It's a very simple principle in human resources that people rise to your highest expectation or to sink to your lowest. Some of you, you look at your team and you're like, nah, these guys are just average. They are not going to do a lot. And guess what? They give you average results. They give you so-so results because that's your expectation. They are rising to your expectation. They are sinking to your lowest expectation. However, if you train them, if you invest in building capability and you set your standards high for them, they rise up to your level of expectation. I've seen this happen before. Okay, try to let go and see how good people are. Try to let go and see how good people are. So train, trust, and delegate. Strategy number 8. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because I think probably most of you are already doing it. 30 minutes of exercise every day can improve your work-life balance tremendously. It's not just all about, getting fit or losing weight. It's beyond that. It's also giving you the ability to sleep well. Some of you don't know, but you spend 9 hours in bed, okay? Because somebody says you need to sleep average of 8-9 hours. You sleep 8-9 hours, but you still wake up tired. Do you know why? It's because you have not experienced what we call stage 4 sleep, okay? You have not experienced stage 4 sleep. When you get to bed, you're still tossing and turning and all of that, and you are investing time in sleep, but you are not investing time in exercise. Okay, research tells us that if you spend 30 minutes every day exercising, you can get the same satisfaction from 1 hour less of sleep. And that's mathematics. That makes sense. So if I need 9 hours to really get refreshed on a normal day, research says if I invest 30 minutes in exercise every day, I can sleep 8 hours and still be as refreshed, which means you eventually gain 30 minutes, right? You invest 30 minutes in exercise, you gain 30 minutes to do other things. So invest 30 minutes in exercise every day. Like I said, I will not spend a lot of time on that. I believe most people on this call are already doing that. If you're not, this will help your work-life balance. Strategy number 9. Strategy number 9, as I start to wrap up, leverage on technology and be smart. Leverage on technology. Now, the technology is a double-edged sword. Okay. Now, especially in this time, and for me, I've been super impressed with this virtual conference. Can you imagine what we're doing with technology? Okay. A year back, 2 years back, we will all be flying to Cape Town right now, right? Okay. And some people will arrive stressed, okay, because of there were plane delays and all of that. We're all joining fresh today. Why? Because of technology. And every supply chain leader in this call should know how to leverage on technology. Technology is available for the things you are struggling with. You need to leverage them and be smart. The only thing is you need to look at the other side as well. Let me tell you something that happened. So I was having a conversation with someone some years back, and she was really stressed. She was really telling me, oh, I don't have a life. Everything is falling apart. I'm one, things are not okay. And then I went to her computer once, and honestly, just spending 5 minutes on a computer, I understood why she would be stressed. All the social medias that you can talk about were opened. So as she opens her computer, there's Facebook here, there is Twitter there is Snapchat there is this there is everybody is pinging her left, center, and right. There is no way you can have a work-life balance like that, because research tells us that when you are interrupted in the middle of something, it takes 16 minutes to get back the same level of concentration. Can you beat that? It takes you 16 minutes. So if you're in the middle of something, your WhatsApp is open, your Facebook is open, a friend just says, hi, I'm just checking on you. Yeah. By the time you go back to what you're doing, it takes 16 minutes to get the same level of concentration. Can you imagine? And then that's 16 minutes. And by the time you are getting back that level of concentration, someone else says, hello, I was soccer last week. And then someone says, hey, I'm just checking on you. Before you know it, you've spent 8 hours, but only 1 hour of work. Why? Because you've been interrupted several times. My encouragement, you need to be smart with technology. Put those things away. They are not going to run away. Put them away when you're at work. Okay? I know some of you will say, okay, but we use them for work. Yeah. Try to separate what you use for work with personal stuff. But make sure that technology doesn't get in the way. You see a lot of people clinging to their phones everywhere, right? Some people even go to the restroom and the phone is still with them. You ask yourself, didn't they call it a restroom for a purpose? They call call it a restroom for a purpose. Rest and relax for a while, right? But every time it's with the phone, it's with this, you're managing 3-4 things at the same time. That's why your work life is out of whack. That's why it's out of whack. So again, please leverage technology, but please be smart. Do things faster using technology, but don't let it be distractive. I see today in today's world, technology is becoming very distractive. There's a movie on Netflix. If you have some time and if you have not watched it before, if you have not seen it, I would recommend that you see it. It's called The Social Dilemma. You will understand a bit about recent technologies. You will see how they are getting our mind share and causing us to have a work-life balance issue and what to do to prevent that. So my advice, leverage technology. It's very good, but please don't let it be distractive. My final strategy for today is very important. It's a very important one. You know, we said earlier on that a lot of people does not have out of work sense of fulfillment. It's all about the office. It's all about promotion. It's all about pay increases. This will help you. Develop a list of 100 things you want to do before you die. Go for 2 every year. Let me tell you what this will do to you. The first time you try to write this list, you will realize that to write 100 things is a challenge. And I put it to everyone in this call. If you can write 100 things very easily, please find my email. Let's have a conversation. The first time I tried it, I think after 20, I was done. And then you realize, look, only 20 things I want to do in my life. Okay, you know, this principle was taught by one of the coaches of American football, Lou Oates, one of the most successful coaches. He coached 6 different teams to the Super Bowl, and they were asking him one day the secret of his success. He said, "Look, I just list 100 things that I want to do, and every year I do 2 of it. I'm giving you the same challenge. Maybe you will not be able to do 100. Maybe you would have a list of 20." Knock off 1 or 2 every year and see how it brings zest to your life. See how it brings fun to your life. See how it brings outside of work sense of fulfillment. You are not just boxed into your company. You can enjoy life. Listen, you deserve to be happy. You have the right to be happy. You have the right to have fun. And the way to do it is what I'm telling you. Write a list. What do you want to do? And every year, try to tick it off. You know, several years back, I wrote a couple of lists. One of the things that I wrote was that one day I'll be able to speak in an international conference. So in 2012, SAPIX gave me the opportunity to speak for the first time. It was so awesome. I just, was doing my thing, doing my best. And it was a big surprise when at the end of that conference, I was nominated and given the prize for the best speaker, the most innovative speaker, and the best presentation in that conference. It was one of the things I wrote. So I went back home and ticked it off. Tick, done. It brings a sense of fulfillment. It brings zest and fun into your life. I hope with these 10 strategies, you can pick 2 or 3. Like I said, you don't have to agree with all. Pick 2 or 3 that applies to you. Commit to them, do them, and you will see your work-life balance at least move by 1 point based on the graph that we saw earlier. Thank you very much for your time.
Wow, I'm sure that you will all agree that that was a very, very insightful presentation. And there's a lot of food for thought, and lots of us need to go away and do a lot of reconstruction of our lives and better organization and setting in those 10 strategies. A list of 100 things may be a bit of a challenge, but I think we all need to give it a bash. Temitope, that was incredible. Thank you so much for your time and for being here with us. I think that everybody will agree it was absolutely exceptional, and we've all learned so much from the session today. Temitope is going to be at table 4 in the lounge. If you don't mind, Temitope, just for a short while, if anybody wants to chat or have questions. We are running a little bit over, so let's reconvene at 10:20. It gives you about 7 minutes to take a toilet run and grab a cup of coffee. So we will see you all back here shortly. Table 4 in the lounge if you'd like to chat with Temitope. So we'll see you back here at 10:20. Thank you all.